Good evening, Bobcats, and welcome to our third and final episode of Coast to Coast coverage. I really cannot believe how fast this week has gone by.
You're absolutely right, Vanessa. The week has flown by. It's been absolutely incredible. I have had tons of experiences, and I've taken so many pictures with so many different people that my camera roll honestly doesn't even look like mine anymore.
That's amazing, Tino. This whole experience has not only meant the world to us, but also many other people that the events have been impacting the most this week. A great example of what I'm talking about is the Salute to Service Wheelchair Football League Championship game that you had the chance to go to just yesterday. Let's hear what you had to say about it.
I'm here at the Salute to Service Wheelchair Football Championship League game. I got a chance to interview one of the players as well as former NFL quarterback Robert Griffin III. Let's take a look at what they had to say. What does this event mean to you, and are you excited for your Rams to be playing today?
Yes, sir. This event means a lot. I followed them since 2004 when they used to play the extreme wheelchair football. One of my good friends, Juan Angulo, plays for the Rams team, and it's just awesome to see these guys come out here and participate in football and, showing people that just because they're in a wheelchair doesn't mean they cannot play sports and do things like that. So, it means a lot. I'm glad they're having a good time. I'm having a good time, losing my voice out here, but it's great. It's great.
I mean, it's important to me because there's a lot of military vets that are in this wheelchair football league. I partnered with the Bob Woodruff Foundation, my own foundation, in the past to give back to the military. And really it's just to show everybody that it doesn't matter what's going on with you, where you might be physically limited. It's not a disability, right? You have an ability, and these guys love football. So for them to come out here and be able to play the game and show the passion, I think that's important, not only for their lives, but for us to magnify.
This event actually means a lot to me. My dad is the coach of the Rams, so it's been a great experience watching this and being a part of it and seeing all of them come together in order to make this league happen. It's been great.
I think it's incredible, and more importantly, the support from the NFL, the Bob Woodruff Foundation, Angel City Sports, our local nonprofit. It makes these things happen. So the competition's here, and I love competing, and we're here to win, but it's also here to support disabled sports all over California and beyond in our country. So it's really important.
So what do you hope to see in terms of in the future for disabled sporting events? What do you hope to see in that in California and just all over the country in general?
It's a great question. So just the support from the professional leagues, and not that we're a charity, because we're not a charity, because it's sports. And we're here to get people back into sports. If you acquire a disability, a lot of times you're not afforded the opportunities that you had before your disability. So the fact that we're able out here to be recruiting new athletes, having athletes try it, and then having athletes compete at the highest level like today, that's what we're here for.
From Q30 TV and Ability Media, I'm Santino Mayoni. Let's hear about the inspiring stories Vanessa got to hear just outside the Los Angeles Convention Center yesterday with the Players Coalition program.
Today I'm standing outside the Los Angeles Convention Center where the Players Coalition food truck is giving out free food on behalf of Cafe Momentum's tireless effort to achieve social justice for juveniles. Today we heard some inspiring stories from members of the program who say they are so grateful to have had this opportunity.
The first 6 months it was a struggle. I actually went back to jail while I was within the program, but Chad Hauser, he came and helped me out.
Cafe Momentum is a 12-month internship program where juvenile kids are taught life skills. Before Chad Hauser founded this program, he was a celebrity chef who had just volunteered to help juvenile kids make ice cream for a cooking competition.
When I met those 8 young men, I felt such an incredible sense of shame because I realized that I had stereotyped them before I'd ever met them and I was wrong. And one of them won the whole competition, and when he won, he was so excited. He told me when he got released he was going to get a job in a restaurant and asked my professional opinion on whether he should work at Wendy's or Chili's. And I was like, oh, whoever hires you first. I was so excited, but I drove home that day and I started thinking about a story, and I realized that he was never going to make it to a Wendy's or Chili's.
Immediately after, Hauser's mission became to create a world where kids could be surrounded by support rather than abandonment.
It's a community telling them repeatedly, I believe in you. And it's so incredible to see a young person hear, I believe in you, because eventually they begin to believe in themselves.
Cafe Momentum influenced me to do things that was right, and it changed my life. So just get around a family, get around a group of people that really love and care for them, and that's going to help them reach their full potential.
Hauser hopes to change the social justice system for juveniles and get rid of a need for this program altogether.
And maybe only after 10 Cafe Momentums we change the system. And if that's the case, then we'll all be out of a job, but I can't think of a better reason to be unemployed.
For Q30 TV and Ability Media, I'm Vanessa Blasi. Some of the biggest names in the entertainment industry made an appearance at the Los Angeles Convention Center yesterday morning for a halftime show press conference with the media. 3 out of the 5 halftime show performers, Snoop Dogg, Mary J. Blige, and Dr. Dre, spoke about how legendary this year's halftime show will be. Dr. Dre said his main goal is to, quote, inspire these kids, end quote. Mary J. Blige wants to continue setting a good example for her fans, saying, quote, I can't please the world and I can't save the world. I just have to live, and that's the example I set. I just have to live fearlessly, end quote. All 3 performers are ecstatic to show fans what they have in store this year. And although they didn't give away any of their surprises, Snoop Dogg did say he's hoping to see the Los Angeles Rams take home the victory on Sunday.
Speaking of the Rams, I know you got to speak with Clifford Taylor, the newly appointed social media and design chair for the Los Angeles Rams, who's only 22 years old. Is that correct?
Yes, let's take a look. Clifford Taylor got his start in graphic design less than a year ago, and his team is already headed to the Super Bowl.
Everyone knows I was a graphic design student at Florida, played football at Florida, grew a little social media following, so I had some connections through some advisors, through some internships, and so they reached out to the Rams on my behalf, and I thought it was a long shot. I was like, okay, they'll reach out, but it's not going to work. LA is like 2,000 miles west, so it's like it's not going to work. And so next thing I know, they asked for my resume, and then next thing I know, lo and behold, I got the job.
Taylor's best advice for others is to always be open to making new connections.
I think that's like the most important thing that some people fail to do. It's like if you talk to people and communicate, the opportunities are endless. And so, I think I take that to heart and, landed me here.
For the last time this week, we will once again use our version of NBA's top 10 likes and dislikes from reporter Zach Lowe to say my top 3 things from this week at the Super Bowl Media Week. This week has been the best week of my life, but I was forced to narrow it down to my top 3 things, so here they are. Coming in at number 3, my third favorite thing was getting a chance to interview NFL Red Zone host Scott Hansen. Scott is best known for his unique inflections and unique voice, and I was able to experience that firsthand. It was great to hear him break down the game and to get his pick on who would win the game on Super Bowl Sunday. Moving on to number 2, my second favorite thing was interviewing former NFL punter Pat McAfee. He currently hosts the Pat McAfee Show, and he was a joy to interview. He was by far the nicest and most personable individual that I interacted with all week. I spoke to him a few times throughout the week before my interview, and he remembered my name, and he cared enough to come back and take the time to do the interview. Everything about him was just amazing, and that was by far one of my favorite moments of the week. But finally, coming in at number 1 was the in-person Bengals media availability at UCLA. I got a chance to interview all 10 players and coaches, including the likes of Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and Joe Mixon. It was such an amazing experience, and I wouldn't have traded that for anything else in the world. That's all for my 3 things. Make sure to follow Ability Media and Q30 to stay up to date on all exclusive Super Bowl content.
We're going to take a short break, but be sure to stick with us to see more celebrity interviews, including Pat McAfee, Hugh Jackson, and both Super Bowl teams, right after this.
When it comes to Twitter, I am someone who prefers to browse the timelines rather than hit the blue circle and type. And when it comes to the big game, content on sports Twitter timelines does not disappoint, like this tweet from Fernando Ramirez.
Okay. So what we get louder. So what we get louder. We're just having fun. That's how it's supposed to be. Let's go.
The media center was musically star-studded yesterday between Snoop Dogg, Mary J, and Dre speaking upstairs and Wiz Khalifa performing with Pat McAfee downstairs on Radio Row. And celebrity sightings aren't the only thing heating up around here. We are all physically hot. Listen, I'm from here. I've been starved of the warmth for the past 2 months on the East Coast, but we're talking highs from 85 to 87 degrees. But at least we're mostly inside in the media center here where the AC is always on. NFL Live's Marcus Spears, on the other hand, take a look.
Mina, what the hell is this?
The heat?
You tell me all the time about California weather, 70
It's a little bit, huh?
Look at my man struggling right now. Somebody bring me a damn towel. What is this? I'm burning up
How
up
about
here.
the Hake baby shower? There's not so
Defensive line
hot out here.
and the ability of them to rush, but
I am dressed like asphalt right now. Give me a sprint to that.
I'm going to find me a pool.
This man is in a full suit, directly in the beating sun, also in front of probably many other reflecting lights and things in front of him. Yeah, it's warm out here, but it wouldn't be a Los Angeles Super Bowl without the beaming sun. Sunday's game has the potential to be the hottest recorded day in Super Bowl history at 86 degrees. Sunday's game also has a 100% chance of not having Tom Brady being the winning quarterback. So to wrap things up for this social segment, it has been exactly 1 year and 1 day since Tom Brady celebrated his ring with a little too much avocado tequila.
Big old boat parade. Wait, no, don't, no! Good. Okay. Touchdown.
Welcome back to Coast coverage. It's time to switch things over to the sports side for the last time. I'm Lo Yarnell alongside Santino Maoni. To kick things off here, we had a big interview Friday morning. We got to sit down with former Cleveland Browns coach Hugh Jackson to talk about tanking allegations and the rumors swirling around the NFL. Let's take a listen. In the wake of Brian Flores' lawsuit detailing paid tanking allegations from the Miami Dolphins owner Steve Ross, former Cleveland Browns head coach and current Grambling State head coach Hugh Jackson came forth with his own experiences with the Browns. We sat down with him at Radio Row to discuss exactly what happened surrounding the allegations. You have been in the spotlight recently surrounding a lot of things, but in your opinion, what is the hardest part of being a head coach in the NFL?
First of all, thank you for having me here today, and obviously I'm excited about being at Grambling State University because I think we're on the cusp of doing some great things. But the question about being a head coach in the National Football League, there's a lot of different hats that coach has to wear. There's a lot of responsibility that comes with that, a lot of stress, a lot of sleepless nights, but if you have a great staff and if you have veteran players who understand what it takes to win, you can get the job done.
Switching gears now to your tweet that you had set out with the $750,000 benchmarks that the Browns had offered you. Why did you wait until Brian Flores had gone public with his lawsuit to then come forth on Twitter with your experience?
Let me say this, I tried several times to come forward. Nobody wanted to listen, so this isn't the first time. I did that in 2016. I went to the National Football League and mentioned that there were some things that I thought were not right. So that's documented, that's known. And I just thought it was really also important to come out and support Brian. I think it takes a lot of bravery to do what he did. I tried to do it, and I did it by myself, and there was nobody helping me through it. So I thought me supporting him and showing that I would be there for him was important.
When you had your situation where you approached the league, how come you did not turn to the media in the way that Brian has now?
Well, because I tried to do everything the right way. You know, I tried to do it through what I thought was the league's procedures to find out how they could assist me in dealing with what I was dealing with, and it didn't turn out that way.
So when Brian Flores' lawsuit came out, were you surprised by the allegations, both the tanking and the racial coaching disparities?
I'm not surprised by anything, you know, that he brought out. I think people have to understand, we as coaches, we don't just say things the same. You know, what good does that do us? I mean, we normally get ridiculed and buried through the media. And I don't think people really think about it that way, but we don't just fabricate things or say things just for our health or for clicks or any of that. We say it because we've experienced it and we've had to deal with it.
In your time with the Browns, did you feel supported or undermined by your management?
Well, obviously I felt undermined. I did not feel supported. But at the same time, you know, I think all those things are going to show themselves as we continue to move forward.
With the obviously pointing out how there are many black coaches who are passed up for head coaching opportunities, sort of funneled into the assistant roles. You left the Browns and then you went to Cincinnati. How did your experience change once you had stepped down a position from the head to one of the more assistant roles?
Well, that was hard. I mean, that's what the problem has been for minority coaches. When they are head coaches, it's like, where do you go after it doesn't work out? I mean, normally coaches flow down. You know, there's normally a process. You go from head coach, maybe to a coordinator, to a position coach. For most minority coaches, you don't get another opportunity to coach. Maybe 2 or 3 years down the road, somebody gives you another opportunity, and I think that's unfair. I think a lot of guys have worked to build their careers in this league and given a lot of blood, sweat, and tears to the league, and for whatever reason, it just hasn't happened that way for us minority coaches.
You had said in a previous interview that when the Browns had approached you with this benchmark system, it was obviously different than the situation that Brian Flores was approached with, was straight up, I'll pay you to lose. Had the situation been different and that was how the Browns had approached you, would your decision-making process have changed?
No, because it would have been, why? Why are you offering me this? That's what I felt I would have said. And to me, we as coaches, we're there to do a job. We're there to win football games. There's nothing in our contract that says losing. So that would have been a real red flag, more so than even the 4-year plan was. But at the same time, you do everything you can to fix things where you are, the best you can, till you realize you can't, and then you move on.
Last question, just kind of looking forward. This is just, currently, it is yourself and Brian Flores. Assuming that this is not only the 2 isolated incidents, how do you see the league changing in the wake of this public lawsuit?
Well, I would hope they do. I hope they change in the fact that we need to get better markers, per se, so that we look at what's going on inside the league. I've made several recommendations to the league. I felt that Roger needed to be more involved with the minority coaches, because I think they're carrying the weight of not just themselves, but also the other minority coaches that will come behind them. So they needed to have a voice to be able to talk to him about the things that they're dealing with and the things that they may be dealing with at work. And so I've made several recommendations to the league. I think it's so important that now, that this has been in the spotlight, that the league really goes back and see what they can do and do it better, because this shouldn't happen. For Brian Flores, it felt like his career could be over. For me to have gone through that same experience in the National Football League, to me that says it all, and it shouldn't be that way.
Here at Radio Row, we are surrounded by celebrities all over the place. I got a chance to speak with a few big names and get their thoughts on what's going to happen in Sunday's big game. I was at Radio Row yesterday, and I got a chance to speak to celebrities in sports about their predictions for which team will win the Super Bowl.
So I grew up a Ram fan. My dad took me to the LA Coliseum back in the day, and I fell in love with them. And then in 1994, when they threatened to move, I was chairman of Save the Rams. And we had 125 businessmen that were fighting hard, and we beat them in the first vote. So it's especially rewarding to have the team back, to have the Super Bowl back. They have a stadium that's a star in and of itself. I think Rams. I think that Cincinnati's playing with house money. They're too young to realize what pressure they're under. They're just playing loose and free and easy. But I think at the end of the day that Matthew Stafford and the vets on defense will take the day, but probably close.
Oh, you know what? I'm expecting a high-paced game. I'm expecting a lot of excitement, a lot of great players in this game too, especially on the defensive side for the Rams. I love watching those guys. I love watching the trenches in general. So seeing Aaron Donald and Von Miller, Michael Floyd and those guys, I just want to see a good game. My prediction, it's tough, man, because I'm in LA now, but I want to see Joe Burrow smoke the cigar after the game.
I think it's a fascinating matchup because we've never seen a Super Bowl with 2 4 seeds making it to the big game. I mean, there were times not only during the season when people would have said the Bengals will never get here, the Rams will never get here. There were times during the postseason when both of these teams might have been knocked out. Remember, both of these teams were down double digits in their respective conference title games, and yet the resiliency and the star power has pushed them through, and one of them is going to be hoisting up the Lombardi Trophy. I think it's a great, fascinating matchup of quarterbacks and 2 teams and 2 franchises for that matter. I would rather, if you were the Rams, hang your hat on Aaron Donald wrecking shop in between the tackles. And I think that's going to be one of the deciding factors, maybe the deciding factor in the game. Because we have seen the Cincinnati Bengals offensive line struggle in pass protection before, and we have seen Aaron Donald turn 300-pound grown men into toddlers out on football fields. He's playing in the biggest game of his life for the second time. I think he comes in and he could be a dark horse MVP candidate. I think Aaron Donald is the one player who might not touch the football in the game that will impact the outcome of the game. Well, I just talked about Aaron Donald and what I think he could do to impact this game. I think he lifts the Lombardi Trophy along with Matthew Stafford and Sean McVay and the Los Angeles Rams. And it wouldn't surprise me if they were able to force some turnovers, if this was maybe even a quote-unquote comfortable win for the Los Angeles Rams. But if you think that Joe Burrow and the Bengals are down at any point, you better not count them out. I hope for a great game, but if I had to make a pick, give me the Rams.
From Q30 Sports and Ability Media, I'm Santino Maione. On Friday, I got the chance to go in person to the Bengals media availability at UCLA. Let's take a look. I'm here at Elvin C. Drake Stadium at UCLA, and I got the chance to interview the Bengals players on what it would be like to bring home their first ever Lombardi Trophy. Let's hear what they had to say.
Yeah, it's an exciting moment. I'm proud to be from Ohio and be the quarterback of Cincinnati. I thank the organization for giving me this opportunity, and so I hope I can return it. Yeah, man, it means a lot. Definitely got to get this for the city, for Cincinnati, and you know, it's been a long time since we've been in this game, and I'm just happy to be here.
So that just means a lot to the city, first off, you know what I'm saying? It's been 31 years since they had, you know, a big accomplishment. You know, I want to help it, you know, start the tradition up again, and, you know, do it with a group of guys that I'm comfortable with. So, you know, it'd be a blessing to bring that back.
Oh, it'll be great. Knowing where this organization's been over these years and knowing how far we've come in this 1 year, you know, it's a great thing. We know if we finish it off the way we're supposed to, the Cincinnati's going to be up in flames. So we're excited about the opportunity.
I mean, I think that'll be the best thing to happen in the city, you know, because like you said, we didn't win no playoff game. You know, we won 3 now, you know, and then we got our fans juiced up and ready, you know, and without our fans and the community behind us, we probably wouldn't be winning games, you know. But I think winning and bringing that trophy back is probably the ultimate goal and award for the city of Cincinnati.
Yeah, man, it's gonna mean everything. I mean, the city has never had nothing like this so special, and I mean, just for the little things that we didn't overcame and accolades that we didn't win, and just the love and appreciation that our fans show, bro. Like back at the crib, you know, some of them cry when they see you and just so excited. I mean, that's a great feeling for me. But at the same time, we gotta go out here. We came out here to finish the job. I mean, it's the last one of the season, the biggest one of the season, and we come out here to try to get that dub for the city, man. And I know it's gonna mean everything. And like I said, I'm gonna do everything in my power for that to happen.
While Tino was at UCLA, I got to travel to Cal Lutheran to cover the Rams, the home team in this, but we're playing at a neutral site. Let's hear what they had to say about their hometown taking them to the Super Bowl.
The stage is set for Super Bowl 56 in Los Angeles, and the Rams are back in the big game after a 4-year gap. Where have they been prepping for the redemption win all this time? In a small town located off the 101 freeway, running plays and designing defenses from behind the softball fields at California Lutheran University. This is Thousand Oaks.
The city of Thousand Oaks is a small town that the LA Rams helped put on the map. Now that they're heading to the biggest stage in the sports world, we got the chance to ask a few players just how Thousand Oaks helped them get to where they are now.
The Rams have had their headquarters based out of Thousand Oaks since their move back to LA in 2016, dropping a nationwide franchise into a town with 127,000 people.
I think what Thousand Oaks and really the city of LA and all the surrounding parts, whether it's Thousand Oaks or LA, I think they can be really proud of the people that we have and the players, the way they compete, the way they stay connected, stay together.
Despite its small size, Thousand Oaks and the surrounding communities of Newbury Park and Westlake Village have a knack for producing talented athletes at the high school level. Jessica Mendoza, Christian Yelich, Cassius Marsh, Maya Brady, just to name a few.
This is where we kind of live. This is where a lot of the community that we spend our time with.
The Rams franchise as a whole has invested into the TO community to create a source of pride. Thousand Oaks' own NFL team.
People who just love to enjoy one another, be there for one another, and support one another. And you look through the youth sports, through the school systems, through everything else. You can't go anywhere around here and not find a pretty good culture of people. And so, to us, it's been an amazing place, and it's been awesome.
The Super Bowl will come and go, but the Rams know even if they don't bring the Vince Lombardi Trophy back to Cal Lutheran, they will still be embraced by the people here, because that's the type of town Thousand Oaks is.
You just feel the love, you feel the excitement. Like, you literally have an NFL team in your backyard. Like, how does that happen? You know, and you just see the players walking around and they say what's up. It's just cool. It's like, having an NFL team in Ranch Cucamonga when I grew up. Like, it's very unique.
Oh man, I mean it's a special place. I mean it's where I'll probably live the rest of my life that I know of. You obviously don't know what'll come next, but I'll definitely live here and my kids will grow up here, so it's going to be a special place to us.
From the Rams in-person media day at Cal Lutheran, I'm Lo Yarnell, Q30 and Ability Media.
After a very busy week of covering both teams, it's time for our final predictions for the big game. Tina, what's your pick?
I go Bengals 28-24. I think that Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase are going to really just make some plays on offense. That defense, Von Bell, players in the secondary are going to make enough plays to get it done and beat the Rams at SoFi Stadium.
I'm going to take 31-28 Rams on this one. Again, I hate to do it, but credit Mina Kimes. If she's going with it, I'm going to go with it. I originally was on the Bengals train this entire week, ask anybody, but after being in person with the Rams, their confidence, their emotions that they have, they are grown men that are coming into this. They are experienced, they are storied, and they are ready for this Super Bowl. So my pick is going to be the Rams. All right, guys, we have Vanessa Blasi back. Welcome back. We've missed you.
Thank you.
That's a wrap on our Super Bowl week coverage here. What do you guys have any thoughts about? I've been completely overwhelmed. It's been amazing.
No, me too. This has probably been one of the best weeks of my life. I've never met so many industry professionals ever here. We got a chance to sit in the press conference at Snoop Dogg.
That
Dr.
was
Dre.
crazy. They had just showed up. I was upstairs trying to get water, and
Yeah.
I was wandering into a conference room, and there's Snoop, Mary J, Dre talking about it. Were you there for that?
I wasn't there for that. I mean, I've been interviewing, meeting so many different people, from getting pictures with DeAndre Hopkins. I can't even name how many I've gotten. Again, DeAndre Hopkins, I've gotten James Jones, I've met Deebo Samuel, Jerry Rice walked past our table. It's been utterly incredible. I've interviewed Scott Hansen, host of NFL Red Zone, Lee Steinberg, famous American sports agent. The list goes on and on and on. Pat McAfee earlier this week. It's just been, everything's been insane. This has been the best week, honestly. You said one of the best weeks. This has been the best week of my life. I have to say that right now. But everything's been amazing, incredible experience.
And it's crazy that the game hasn't even happened yet. I mean,
Exactly.
how are you guys feeling with all of this knowledge now watching your first Super Bowl, knowing what the behind the scenes looks like?
I mean, it's awesome that we got a chance to see what the players look like in real life. Now I'm going to watch the game on Sunday, and I'm going to say I know you, and you.
And I have to know, because you two went to the Bengals in-person interview, I didn't. Is Joe Burrow as attractive in person as
I
he is
can
on-
confirm that he is. Right, Tino?
Yes, yes. You know, I will say, okay, as a guy, yes, Joe Burrow is a very attractive man. My thing is, to answer your what you kind of brought up about the fact going into the game, looking at it kind of differently. Being at the Bengals in-person
Angle
interview,
at his jawline hates.
being at the Bengals in-person interview, you being at the Rams in person, I feel like that gives both of us a different perspective on the game, because we heard their personal stories about their family's going to be there, different stuff, not even the questions we got to ask, but the questions that were asked in general. We get to kind of know where their mindset's at now. If they're lifting up that Lombardi trophy, what's going through their head? We kind of got a glimpse of that through these in-person interviews. And again, gotta say, just being in the presence of Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, I don't even know. I'm speechless.
And you got to
I don't
ask
even
those
know.
questions firsthand. So you know
I got
exactly
to ask the questions firsthand, and I mean, Vanessa can attest to this. I asked Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow who has more style, better swag. Of course, Jamar said himself. Burrow said himself. So
Tino played messenger. He was
I was going back and forth between the
Telephone
two.
between
If
the
you want to
two.
give us some words about your Rams interview, kind of what you experienced there, you can go ahead.
Yeah, we went to Cal Lu, myself and AJ Roberts, and it was fantastic. I really loved getting to talk to some of the local media there from my hometown that just is working tirelessly to cover this Super Bowl. But just to wrap things up here, heading back to Quinnipiac now, we have worked this entire week to try to bring the Quinnipiac community and Ability Media's audience into the Super Bowl, into Radio Row, to just give them the experience of this. But for yourself, what has been the biggest takeaway that you've taken from this week?
Honestly, when you're in class, you don't think that the things that you're learning are actually going to help you in the real world. But being here, I've heard my professors talking to me in the back of my head this entire time. I don't know if you guys can relate to that, but it really goes to show that the things that we're learning, they really do apply to the real world, and it's been an amazing time figuring that out.
And absolutely shout out to Molly Annity,
Yes.
who wrote a
Oh, yeah.
beautiful letter
100%.
about what we have done, and
Yeah.
that it's true that the professors and everything that they have taught us has been in our head. We would not be able to create this product and bring you guys this coverage without our professors and our experience that we have with student media and other extracurriculars. But Tina, what's your biggest takeaway?
My thing is, obviously, you two have been journalism majors, I believe, since coming into Quinnipiac. I recently changed to a journalism major about last semester, so I haven't taken a lot of journalism classes. What I'm going to go to more so is the fact that the people at Q30, specifically sports director Jacob Resnick, a lot of the things that he told me in my first year at Q30 stuck with me throughout this entire thing. one of the biggest things he told me at the first day that I got there was never refer, saying we, like when you're talking about teams, players. Like if you're a fan of Burrow, you shouldn't be saying like, oh, you shouldn't refer to the Bengals as we or whatever. Just everything that he's taught me, I can't pull it all off the top of my head right now, but just everything that Q30 taught me, everything I've learned through that, specifically WQAQ, Jack Maine, like everybody at Q30, those directors taught me so much. They've helped prepare me for this moment. And again, this has just been amazing for all of us. Again, the best week of my life, people that I've met, everything. This has been unbelievable. Thank you, Dave Stevens, Dean Roush, for sending all of us out here, people from Q and LA program, Quinnipiac flying low, and AJ out. It's been incredible, and thank you guys so much for this opportunity.
And that's going to wrap things up for our last episode of Coast to Coast coverage. We have had a fantastic time being here at Radio Row and covering all things Super Bowl. For our amazing Ability Media and Q30 team behind the scenes, AJ Roberts, Effie Nikolakis, Sydney Handler, Vanessa Blasi, Santino Mayoni, I'm Lo Yarnell. Have a great night.